Okay, so we will start in a standing position. So position yourself. If you just like that ease of transition, maybe you'll position yourself towards the back of your mat where you would come when we're starting in an extended child's pose position. But just to start, place your hands like you're putting your hands on your hips, or like you're trying to imagine that you're placing your fingertips into the entry point of your front pocket. And then put a little squeeze on. So like you're making a little Lego hand. Squeeze into the hips just a little bit, feel those muscles, and then start to make small little circles, but keep that little squeeze in your fingers. So as you start to move your hips in gentle circles, just kind of tune in and feel. Notice the muscle movement, notice the bones. And then keep that going, but if you can, just for a moment, either close your eyes down or soften your gaze. And as you do this work, so everything's going to stay tight up at the hips. You're circling the hips and hands are giving that little squeeze, but tune in and notice the little bit of movement that might be happening down at your feet. You might notice that slight transfer of weight from the heels to the toes and the balls of the feet. You might notice just having your skin and connective tissue trapped on the mat. So there's that little bit of movement that happens all around the soles of the feet. And then that slight bit of action in the ankles. And then when you feel ready, take your circles, draw them the other way, but everything else stays the same. We're keeping that little squeeze on the hands. Doesn't need to be huge movement, just enough that you can feel the hips. Awesome. Take one more circle around, and then we're going to come to a nice even stance and start that little rock the baby sway. So with this rock the baby sway, bend your knees and transfer your weight so that the hips stay fairly level. So it's not the bop of the hips, but just a knee bend and then a knee bend. And then once you've got that going on, if you like, just let your hands start to relax down at your sides. Nice. Take one more little rock the baby sway, then we're going to step the feet just slightly wider so that we can start to take it into a shirt sleeve twist. So we're going to start to swing the arms, let the hips rotate gently side to side, and let your feet pivot and move with you. And then keeping the arms swinging around the hip area, but now bring a little bit of a light tap, or you can make a fist and loosely, gently tap with a fist or an open palm, just whatever feels better there. Awesome. One more swing of the arms side to side, and then let everything come back to stillness. Let your arms just kind of dangle nice and heavy. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Just pause here for a moment and set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And with that intention set, eyes are going to open, and we're just going to take it into a light little bounce. We're going to start by bouncing the heels. You're going to start with a light bounce just to feel that bouncing and vibration in the body. And then if it feels good, you're going to let it be a little bit more vigorous. So you're going to let the knees bend, you're going to let the heels bounce, and you're going to let your arms kind of flop and bounce with you. So you might feel a bit of movement up in the rib cage, a little bit of movement up in the shoulders, but go to the depth that feels good. So if your knees are feeling tender this morning and this feels like a little too much, slow it down. If it feels like it's a little too much in the shoulders, slow it down. Take about 2 or 3 more bounces here, just at the depth that feels good to you. And then when you feel ready, we're just going to let that all come to stillness and start to find our way down to a extended child's pose. So you come down in any way that makes sense to you, knees as wide as you like, or knees closer together if that's more supportive to the low back. Once you've found your position of your legs you like, walk your torso forward just to the depth that feels good to you, and then let everything find a softer position. So arms are going to be soft and heavy. Forehead is going to be soft and heavy. Give a second to make any of those little micro adjustments so that your hip creases feel good, your arms and your shoulders feel good. And then once you've kind of worked out all those little wiggles and everything feels good, see if you can just start by tuning in to your butt area and the low back area. So you might notice there's just a little bit of stretching that happens in the glute muscles here. And then maybe you can just notice your low back and notice how your low back is feeling this morning. We're going to stay in a slightly low and soft position, but we're going to start. So imagine if you were in a tabletop position. I'm going to lift my butt up just so you can see what's going on. Imagine you're in a tabletop position and you're doing those barrel rolls or scrape the peanut butter jar, but we're going to stay low and back towards the butt. And then you're going to circle your ribs. So you're not going to get big, giant, grand movement, but just circle your ribs as much as you can. Take 2 more circles in this direction, and then when you feel ready, reverse the direction and go the other way. Nice. Take 1 more circle around, and then we're going to keep a slightly loose position here. So not bringing all that weight pushing back towards the heels, but just allow a little bit of bounce to your butt, if you will. And now we're going to bring the right hand behind the head, and we're going to offer up a little rotation here. So you're just going to pick your right elbow upward towards the ceiling and then bring your elbow back down. Allow your butt to be loose away from your heels so there's plenty of freedom for your hips and your ribs to move. Lift the elbow up and then bring it back down, and do that 1 more time. Lift the elbow up, just a light bit of rotation, bring it down, and then we're going to switch hands. So right hand's going to reach forward, left hand's going to come behind the head. And now we're going to lift that left elbow up just a little bit, find a little bit of rotation, and then bring it back down. Lift the elbow up just a little bit, and then bring it back down, and do that 1 more time. Lift the elbow up just a little bit, bring it back down, and now we're going to release both arms long in front of us and take it into a little side bend. So walk your hands off to one side, just to a point where you feel a little stress or stretch in the side of the ribs and the side body. Once you feel a good amount of sensation, take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. And then slowly and carefully walk through center over and off the other side, just to the point where you feel that little stress or a stretch in the side of the body, and then come back to your breath. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. And then when you're ready, walk it back to center. We're going to lift up into a tabletop position. If your knees were wide, walk them in so that we're about in line with the hips. And then once you found your way there, take 3 cat-cows here. Inhale as you drop your belly. Exhale as you round your back. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale to round. 1 more cycle of breath. And then once you found a neutral spine, slide your right leg back, toes curled under, and take about 3 rocks forward and back. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slide that leg in, and we're going to switch right over to the other side. Left leg slides back, toes curled under, take a couple of rocks forward and back. Nice. And then when you're ready, slide that leg in, and we're going to take 3 wrist push-ups. So we're going to keep the fingers on the ground. We're going to lift the wrists away from the floor and then carefully release the wrists back down. Lift your wrists away from the floor. Release them back down. Do that 1 more time. Lift your wrists away from the floor. Release them back down. Now we're going to take 3 elbow push-ups or 3 tricep push-ups. So we're just going to bend the elbows like you're lowering your elbows down towards the ground, and then push into the palms. Use the backs of the arms to raise up. Nice. Bend your elbows, lower your chest, push into the palms, lift back up. Beautiful. Do that 1 more time. Bend your elbows, lower your heart. Come back up with control. And now we're going to walk the hands forward into puppy pose. So walk your hands as far forward and as wide as you like. Let your chest drop down. Take 3 nice big breaths here. Awesome. Now from here, we're going to float our way down onto our belly. So bring your heart forward just a little bit, come down elbows and forearms, walk your feet back in any way that works good for you, and then gently lower yourself down. Come through your Sphinx position, pause there just for a moment, just to kind of tune in, notice your low back, notice your butt muscles, and notice if there's any real big compression or tension in the low back. But then we're going to walk the elbows slightly wider. So we're going to soften that back bend a little bit. Stack your hands just so that you feel like a good solid bracing of the shoulders and upper body. Bend your knees, and now we're going to go just to the right side. So you're going to drop the knees slowly over to the right, bring them back up to center. Drop them slowly over to the right. Bring them back to center. Do that one more time. Drop them slowly over to the right. Bring them back to center, and then switch over to the left. Drop them slowly over to the left. Bring them back to center. Drop them slowly over to the left. Bring it back to center. Do that one more time. Drop them slowly over to the left. Bring them back to center. And now big swishes of those feet side to side. Go as far to the left and to the right as feels good to you. Once you've got that going on, let your forehead rest on your hands. One more big swish of those feet side to side, and then we're going to float the toes down. Keep your head resting on your hands if you can, and then we're going to take that central nervous system reset. So we're just going to start to rock the hips, rock them just as much as feels good, and find a good amount of gentle movement here. So you're going to feel maybe just that soft shaking in the butt, but then maybe tune in and notice the tops of your thighs connected to the floor are getting a light bit of massage. Check your knees, just make sure they feel cushioned and safe. Notice the tops of the feet connected to the floor. Notice that little bit of gentle rocking that's happening in your heels and your ankles. Shake that butt for about 3 more cycles of breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, just for a moment, let everything come to stillness. Let your back rest, let your head rest, let your feet be soft and still. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. We're going to slide the feet in so they're about hip width distance apart. We're going to keep our hands connected to the forehead. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift your head and the back up away from the floor, just feeling a little action in those back muscles. Keep the hands connected to the forehead. And then as you inhale, release back down. Exhale, keep the hands connected to the head, lift up and away from the floor just a little bit. Inhale to release back down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to release. And now we're going to reverse the breath. Keep your hands connected to your head. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Do that one more time. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down, and then soften that connection between your head and your hands. We're going to reach the arms out. So some of us might like T arms, some of us might like W arms. That's just going to be up to your shoulders, which way you go with the arm setting. But now we're going to take it into some scorpion twists. So we're going to pick up the left leg like you're reaching the foot up towards the ceiling, but then reach it up nice and high, roll it over and across, and see if you can touch the left foot to the right side of the floor. And then with control, bring it back in. And then check your arms, position them so that it feels good. Pick up your right leg, lift it up nice and high, and then roll it over so that right foot can touch over to the left side. Beautiful. Bring it back in with control. Adjust your arms as needed. Left leg is gonna lift up nice and high, roll over and across, touch to the right. Bring it back in with control. Back over to the other side. Pick up that right leg nice and high, touch over to the left. Beautiful. Bring it back in with control. One more time each side. Go at a pace that feels good to you. Nice. And then once you've completed that last one, as you come back onto your belly, slide your hands in, and we're going to take 3 low cobras here. So hands alongside the shoulders, elbows soft in at the ribs. Inhale and lift your heart up just a little bit. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to lower down. We're going to push our way up to a tabletop position. Take your time as you come up. Once you found your tabletop position, we're going to curl both sets of toes under, draw your butt back towards your heels just to a point where you feel a little gentle stretch or stress at the bottom of the feet and the toes, and then lift your butt right up away from the heels. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Lift yourself back up. Do that one more time. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Lift yourself back up. Keep the toes curled under and hover your table. Pick your knees up away from the floor, just about an inch or so, just to find that nice stable control. Notice your shoulders. Notice your head posture. So if your head is starting to sink down towards your thumbs, pull your chin back like you're making a little double chin and take one more breath here. Nice. And then release your knees with control. Release your toes. We're going to step the right foot forward into a 90-90 lunge. So we're going to step that right foot up, find that 90-90 first, and then lift your torso away from the thigh. Readjust your legs so everything feels good and stable. Cushion that back knee if that feels good. Right hand to the hip. Left hand's going to reach up alongside the ear. We're going to take 3 little gentle side bends. So tip over to the right. Come back up with control. Tip over to the right. Come back up with control. One more time. Tip over to the right. Come back up with control. Keep that left hand up. Right hand's going to lift up to meet. And now we're going to curl the tailbone under. So imagine you're drawing your tailbone down towards the ground to create some length through that left front pocket area. Once you've got the tailbone drawn down, keep your legs solid. Keep that tailbone drawing down. Lift your chest just slightly. Lift your gaze. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, soften everything. Float your hands down. We're going to take it back into a runner's lunge. So we're going to curl the back toes under. Pick that back knee up, lift your chest, look forward, take a breath. Nice. And then plant your palms, step back to a plank, pause in your plank position. It is Planksgiving, so we got to work those planks into everything, everything this month. Take one more moment here, and then we're going to take it right back into a tabletop position. So slide those knees in, take a moment to check in, and then when you're ready, step that left foot forward, 90-90 lunge to the other side. Lift your torso up and away. Make sure everything feels adjusted well. Once you're there, left hand on the hip, right hand's going to reach up. 3 little side bends over to the left. Tip over just as much as feels good. Come back up with control. Tip over to the left. Come back up with control. Nice. One more time. Tip over to the left. Come back up with control. Both arms are going to reach up. Curl the tailbone under. Create that little bit of space through that right front pocket area. Once you feel like you found that space, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Beautiful. Soften all of that up. Float your hands down. We're going to curl the back toes under. Pick that back knee up. Find your runner's lunge. Heart forward, look forward. Take a breath. Lovely. And then when you're ready, plant your palms. Step back to a plank. Pause in your plank position. Nice. From this plank position, we're going to take it up to downward facing dog. So when you're ready, lift your hips up. Readjust your feet as needed. Once you've got your downward facing dog shape that you typically like, we're going to bend the knees a lot and bring the butt slightly back towards the heels. So nice significant bend in the knees, and then drop into the shoulders just a little bit. Let your head drop down. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a nice soft ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, super generous bend in the knees. Let everything hang nice and heavy here and take 3 nice big breaths. On your next inhale, we're going to take it into a half forward fold. So engage the legs, lift through the spine, find that nice 7 shape or L shape with the body. And then as you exhale, soften your knees and fold back down. Inhale, take it into your half forward fold, slide your hands up to your shins, lengthen your spine. Beautiful. Exhale, soften back down. One more time like that. Inhale to the half forward fold. This time, keep that half forward fold position. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, bring your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. And then just take a second as you come to standing to get everything situated. Once you've got yourself all fixed up, find your mountain pose at the top of the mat. Toes and knees pointing fairly forward. We're going to lift the toes, spread your toes as wide as you can. Lift through the soles of your feet. So you draw that energetic lift up through the legs, up through the spine, up through the crown of your head. And then if your toes are still lifted, softly release the toes, but everything else stays with that upward lifting sensation. Right hand's going to touch down to the thigh. Left hand's going to reach up alongside your ear and then take a light little side bend. Just tip over to the right as far as feels good. Come back up with control. Left hand's going to touch down to the thigh. Right hand's going to reach up. Tip over to the left just as much as feels good. Come back up. Keep the right hand up. Left hand's going to come up to meet like you're holding a beach ball above your head. We're going to try to keep our arms in line with the ears best we can, and then start to sit back into a chair. So keep your arms, and that's the focus. So don't go to a point where your arms scooch forward. Go only down as far as you can. Find that chair position without the arms falling away from the ears. And then once you've found the place where you feel the strongest and your arms are still alongside the ears, we're just going to draw the tail gently down. So imagine coming back to that sensation where you're drawing the tailbone down. Take a moment here just to notice your strength. And then with control, push firm into your feet, rise up, let your arms float down. We're going to grab behind the back. So left hand's going to reach behind and grab the right elbow pit. Once you've got that right elbow pit, we're going to drop the left ear over to the left shoulder. Take one more breath. Lift your head up with control. Release your hold from your elbow pit. Switch to the other side. So right hand's going to reach behind. Grab the left elbow pit. Once you've got that left elbow pit hold, drop your right ear over to your right shoulder. Take one more breath. As you release your handhold and find your mountain pose again, lift up energetically from the soles of the feet and reach that energy up through the crown of your head. And then once you're there, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. Once you found your downward facing dog, we're going to bend the knees a lot. Bring your butt slightly back towards your heels. Let your chest sink just a little further towards the ground. Soften your head. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Beautiful. And then lower your knees even more so you come down into tabletop position, moving right into gate posture. So step the right foot out nice and wide, straight out from the hip. Hands to the hips, come up to that nice tall kneel position. Right hand on the thigh, left hand reaches up, tip over to the right. Take a nice big side bend. Now we're going to take that left top hand and circle around and down. So keep that reach as if you're trying to stretch through the whole entire side body. Reach, 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 reach. Slow and controlled. Circle that hand all the way around and down, and then find your tabletop position. 3 butts back to the heel. So bring your butt back towards your heels. And then come back up with control. Go only as far back as feels safe to your knee. Pull your butt back towards your heel. Come back up with control. Do that one more time. Pull your butt back towards your heel. Bring it back up with control. Step the right foot in. Left foot's going to step out nice and wide. Gate pose to the other side. Find your tall kneel position to start. Awesome. Left hand on the thigh. Right hand reaches up. Tip over to the left. Now keep that energy and length through the side of the body as you reach and circle that hand around. So you're going to feel maybe a little sensation through the sides of the ribs, back in the shoulder blades, slow as you can, circle around and down. And then once that hand finds the floor, left hand steps in to meet, find that tabletop position, but the left leg stays out. And then 3 times, butt back to the heels, just go back as far as feels safe to your knee, come back up with control. Beautiful. 2 more just like that. On this last one, as you slide that left leg in, we're going to go big toes together, knees back out to the edges of your mat. So we're going to come back to that extended child's pose position. Walk your knees out as wide as you like. Bring your butt back to your heels. Let everything soften down. Relax your belly, your chest, your forehead, and just take 3 nice big breaths here. Nice. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully lift your butt up away from your heels. We're going to just swing the legs out and around so we can sit back onto our butt and send your legs out in front of you nice and long. Beautiful. Once you've got your legs nice and long, just a little action in the feet. So imagine you're pulling your toes in towards your body, a nice flex in the feet. Hands are going to come down alongside the hips. push into the palms, get as much length in your spine as you can find, but the legs are still nice and active. So find that active staff pose, toes are drawing in, legs are nice and active, press into the palms, reach up through the crown of your head, check your head posture here. So if your chin is slightly forward, pull the chin back like you're making a little double chin. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then soften and let everything go. Bounce out your knees. We're going to scooch the butt forward, curl the tailbone under, and roll your way down with control. So take your time. Imagine you're going one vertebrae at a time or just working to touch down every little length of the spine as you come down. Once you've come all the way down right away, bring the right knee into your chest. Let your left leg go nice and long. And now we're moving right into supine twist. Take that right knee over and across the body to the left. Right arm opens out wide, head turns to the right. Keep your spinal twist just as it is. Keep your head turned to the right if you can. But now we're going to turn our eyes, and just our eyes are going to look over to the left top corner. So think left corner of your ceiling or just wherever your eyes land. So keep your head turned to the right, turn your eyes to the left, and hold your focus gaze. See if you can hold your eyes open and focused for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your eyes, soften your head turn, pull the right knee back into your chest, bring the left knee into meet, light little squeeze, and then hold onto your left leg, let your right leg go nice and long. Awesome. And then when you're ready, take that left knee over to the right, over and across the body, left arm opens wide, head turns to the left if that feels good. Keeping everything else as it is. So head is turned to the left. You're going to look your eyes to the right top corner of your ceiling. So turn your eyes, just your eyes, head stays turned to the left. Look your eyes to the right and see if you can hold that focused gaze and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your eyes, soften your head turn. Pull the left knee back into your chest, bring the right knee into me, a light little squeeze, but then we're going to get a good firm handhold. So we're going to hold the knees or the shins, whatever works for you. But then your arms are going to create a resistance and you're going to try to push your knees or your shins into your hands. So try to push your legs up towards the ceiling, but the arms are going to resist, and see if you can hold that resistance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften, gently pull the knees into your chest, and we're going to move right onto a figure 4. So set your left foot down, bring the right leg across the left. You might choose to stay in a low position. That might feel good to the hips, but if that feels great and you want just a little bit more, you're going to pick the left leg up, thread your hands through, get the handhold that works good for you, and then gently draw the legs in just to your comfort level. Once you've got a nice, good sensation, maybe down into your glutes, deep in your glutes, side of the hip, you just check in, where do you feel sensation? But then can you soften your shoulders? Can you relax your abdominal muscles? Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, with control, gently release, step the right foot off the left, and we're going to move right onto the other side. So left foot's going to step across the right. You might choose to stay here. The low setting might feel really good to you. If that feels great, but you want a little bit more, you might pick the right leg up, thread your hands through, get the handhold that works good for you, and then bring it into your comfort level. Take a moment to check in, soften your shoulders, soften your abdominal muscles. Take one more breath. When you're ready, from this position, we're going to release into a reclined cobbler's pose or reclined butterfly position. So as you unlace your legs, bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are going to drop out to the left and to the right, just to the edge of that position. Take one gentle breath, and then we're going to pull the inner thighs together, knees together, toes together. So we're going to keep that tight position. And now we're going to actively push the knees in towards each other. So hold that strong position, pushing the knees in towards each other. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that strong position. Step your feet apart just a little bit so feet are about hip width distance apart. Bring your hands down alongside your hips. We're going to think about keeping the backs of the ribs connected to the floor and focus on the breath. So we're going to exhale as we lift up into that hip bridge, but imagine you're trying to keep the backs of your ribs connected to the ground. They do lift off, but just imagine you're trying to keep that anchor there. And then inhale, lower your hips back down. 2 more just like that. Exhale, lift your hips up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to lower down, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and the right. Back to that reclined cobbler's position or butterfly position. Once you've found your edge, pause there for just a second and then bring it everything together. Inner thighs together, knees together, toes together. Push your knees in towards each other and hold that strong and active position. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften that. Step your feet apart back to that hip width distance apart. This time we're going to come up to 1 bridge and hold. So exhale, lift your hips up. Imagine you're anchoring your ribs towards the ground. Imagine you're reaching your knees towards your toes. So maybe that brings just a little bit more length through that front pocket area, but the butt muscles are firm, hamstring muscles are firm. Everything's nice and strong in the legs. Take 3 cycles of breath here, nice and strong. And then when you're ready to come down, we're going to roll down through the length of the spine. So think upper back, middle back, low back. Once your hips touch down, gently bring both knees up into your chest. And we're going to take those knees, draw them in a couple of gentle circles. Circle in one direction. And then when you're ready, take those circles and go the other way. Beautiful. And then before we head on to our shavasana, we're just going to take it up into that dead bug position. So both legs up, both arms up, but that yoga dead bug, so the legs are slightly straight. We're going to go left leg, right hand. Left leg, right hand are going to get a little shake, but the other 2 limbs are going to stay pretty steady. Let that come to stillness. And now left hand, right leg are going to get a shake. One more moment of shake, and then when you're ready, float your limbs down, take your time, and then ask yourself where would be your best shavasana. If you're in a chilly space, perhaps you'll take a second to put on a blanket, your socks, your sweater, anything that will make you feel comfortable and tucked in, and then you won't come out of your shavasana feeling stiff. Once you've got yourself cozied up, find a second to just work into a position of the body that feels restful. Constructive rest can be supportive to the low back. Reclined cobbler's pose can get you a little bit more action in the hips. But if you do go for reclined cobbler's pose, tuck some pillows around your thighs so that you just keep the hips stable and you're not yanking on that SI joint. Find a position of the body that feels good and then give a second to work out all those little wiggles. keeping your eyes closed if you can, start by just noticing the movement of breath in your body. So see if you can tune in and sense, where are you feeling that movement of breath? There's no right or wrong, but do you feel it in the rib cage, in the abdomen, in the chest, or the shoulders? And then as you start to become more aware of your body, start to turn your head gently side to side. Keeping your head turning gently side to side, invite a little bit of gentle movement into your fingers. Keeping your head turning and your fingers wiggling, invite a little bit of movement down into your toes. One more turn of the head side to side, and then let your head come to a still position and start to bring yourself into that long leg position. So legs nice and long, stretch your arms up and overhead, take it into that big good morning stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes, feel the full length of your body. Take a nice big breath in. And then in your own way and at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe coming up to Sukhasana if that feels like a nice way to sit, but any other seated position that just allows you to sit up nice and tall. Great. And then once you found that nice tall seated position, if you're wearing glasses, take a second to place them somewhere safe. And we're going to take our little index finger hooks. So we're going to make a little hook with our index finger. Take your little hooks right to the space between your eyebrows, or right where those little 11 lines can sometimes be. And then we're just going to push gently into the hooks of the fingers, and then drag your hooks along the edges of your eyebrows out to the temples. Once you hit the temples, lift up, bring it back in. Hooks to the insides of the eyebrows, press in. Drag it out to the temples. Once you hit the temples, pick up and lift. One more time, bring it back to that space, push in and drag. Awesome. And now we're going to take our little hooks and we're going to put them right at the jawline. So find on my one side, I get caught up in my microphone, but press into that space of your jawline with your little hook fingers, and then open and close your mouth a couple of times. And then do the sideways sandwich like you're preparing to do your Cockney accent, my theater friends. So little side to side with the jaw, and then when you're ready, let all that go, hands to the heart, and we're just going to give good pats to that heart space. Nice open palm situation with as much vigor as feels good to you. You'll hear it in your breath. You can hear it in my voice. One more nice big vigorous pat around the chest. Then when you're ready, stack your hands on your heart, bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. And breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up to the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Saturday. You guys are so amazing.